Young and the Restless Spoilers shock. Welcome back to our channel, besties. Today is a beautifully chaotic day, and we have to dive right into the madness because I cannot hold this tea in for another single second. Grab your iced coffees, buckle up, and let's get completely unhinged over the latest Genoa City drama. You guys, I am deceased. Stop what you are doing right this exact second because I am literally shaking and we need to talk about this now. I am literally filming this while I'm running errands, dodging shopping carts in the parking lot, because I just had to jump on here and vent before my head actually explodes off my shoulders. We are not just casually watching this show anymore, okay? We are invested. Like, I am personally offended, deeply triggered, and totally living for the absolute cinematic mayhem that just went down in that courtroom today. I was mid-skincare and smeared charcoal mask all over the rug when this scene played out. Literally had to yeet my phone across the room because the sheer audacity of these characters is too much for my fragile human heart to process. Send help. My soul has actually left my body. Wait, backtrack for a second. I missed a step because my brain is moving at a million miles an hour. Let's set the stage for the absolute dumpster fire that was supposed to be Mariah Copeland's trial. For weeks, we have been building up to this moment. The kidnapping of baby Dominic was the most insane, traumatic event to hit the Newman-Abbott Winners extended universe in years. We all knew Mariah was struggling. We all knew she was in a mental health facility. And we all knew that Devon Hamilton was basically leading the charge to lock her away and throw away the key. He was the one pushing for maximum penalties. He was the one acting like the ultimate avenging father figure. Oh, hold on. I should have mentioned this earlier, but Devon and Abby were genuinely at odds before this trial even started. If you remember, Devon was the one lecturing Abby in Chancellor Park, asking her why she wanted to show Mariah any mercy. He was straight up looking her in the eye and saying that putting Mariah in prison was about justice, not revenge. He basically gaslit Abby into thinking she wasn't being protective enough of their son. So, going into this trial, everyone and their mother expected Devon to take the stand, deliver the most ruthless, heart-wrenching testimony of the century, and nail Mariah to the wall. We were ready for Law & Order. Genoa City, basically. But then, the courtroom doors swing open, and the vibes are immediately off. And don't even get me started on the vibes. The tension in that mahogany-paneled room was so thick, you could cut it with a chainsaw. Abby is sitting there, looking like a flawless, stoic Newman-Abbott queen in her perfectly tailored power suit, ready to support her husband and get justice for her baby. The judge is looking over the glasses. The gallery is holding its collective breath. Devon steps up, and we are all waiting for him to deliver the final blow that sends Mariah packing. And then, bestie, be for real right now. Devon Hamilton, the man who has been preaching about justice and protecting Dominic for months, opens his mouth and absolutely shatters the entire universe. He doesn't just soften his stance. He doesn't just ask for leniency. He straight up drops all the charges. I am literally hyperventilating right now, just thinking about it. He stands there in front of God, the judge, and his completely blindsided wife, and says he is withdrawing every single accusation against Mariah Copeland. Which is honestly so unhinged. Who does that? You do not completely flip the script on a kidnapping trial without giving your wife a heads up. But wait, it gets worse. It gets so much worse. Because Devon doesn't just drop the charges. He physically walks over to Mariah, right there in the middle of the courtroom, and hugs her. He wraps his arms around the woman who kidnapped his son, and he says, and I quote, "Because these words are burned into my retinas forever, hatred only hurts, Dominic. I'm calling it, the villain arc is about to go nuclear." Did I say that yet? My brain is mush. Moving on. When Devon hugged Mariah, I genuinely thought I was hallucinating. I thought someone had slipped something into my iced matcha because there is no way this man just betrayed his entire family on public record. He hugged her. He looked at her with this sickeningly sweet, forgiving expression, completely invalidating every single ounce of trauma that Abby has been carrying for months. They are officially on my do not perceive list. I am so done with Devon's savior complex. Wait, I'm glitching. Okay, back to the main event. Let's talk about Abby Newman, because my girl did not just sit there and take it. Oh no. The camera pans to Abby, and you can legit see the exact second her heart shatters and her blood turns to pure boiling lava. She stands up right in the middle of the courtroom. She doesn't wait for a recess. She doesn't care about decorum. She stands up, tears streaming down her flawless face, and she starts screaming at Devon. It was 10/10 cinematic drama. Abby is crying, her voice is cracking, and she points right at her husband and accuses him of the ultimate sin, betraying his own son to protect a kidnapper. She is screaming that he sold out Dominic. She is screaming that he chose his weird, complicated history with Mariah over the safety and justice of his own child. And honestly, she is so real for that. She is absolutely 100% justified in losing her absolute mind in that moment. You do not blindside a Newman in a courtroom, and you certainly do not hug the woman who traumatized your baby while your wife watches. Let's dissect this tea with absolute cinematic mayhem, because the psychology here is astronomical. Devon has always had this weird need to be the moral compass of the room. He loves to play the forgiving, enlightened billionaire. But doing it at the expense of his wife's sanity? Genuinely toxic. He basically used the courtroom as a stage to perform his own forgiveness, completely ignoring the fact that Abby is the one who has been holding their family together while he flip-flopped on how to handle Mariah. And let's veer off into a completely random tangent for a second. Did anyone else notice the weird lighting in the courtroom during this scene? It was giving major Renaissance painting vibes, like the lighting was hitting Devon's face to make him look like this angelic martyr, while Abby was cast in shadows like some vengeful harpy. It was such a weird aesthetic choice by the directors, and it honestly made me so mad, because Abby is the victim here. The lighting was basically gaslighting us. Okay, snapping back to the main tea. The fallout in that room was instantaneous. The judge is banging the gavel, the gallery is gasping, and Devon is just standing there looking like a stunned mullet while his wife publicly eviscerates him. The rift between Abby and Devon didn't just crack, it exploded into a million pieces. There is no coming back from this. You can't just go home, order takeout, and pretend you didn't publicly side with your child's kidnapper over your wife. Manifesting a total dumpster fire by the next update, because this marriage is absolutely, unequivocally over. Now, because of Devon's little stunt, Mariah is returning to Genoa City as a free woman. She is walking the streets. She is back in the mix. And, Tessa is probably crying tears of joy, while the rest of the town is locking their doors. The sheer audacity of Mariah just waltzing back into town after the trauma she caused is going to send shockwaves through every single coffee shop and corporate boardroom. And what does this mean for the Newman-Abbott family? Victor Newman is going to have a literal aneurysm. When Victor finds out that Devon dropped the charges and hugged the kidnapper, he is going to unleash hellfire on Chancellor Winters and Devon's entire existence. Victor doesn't do forgiveness. Victor does hostile takeovers and threats in dark parking lots. Devon has just painted a massive target on his back, and I am straight up grabbing my popcorn because the impending war is going to be legendary. Abby is going to weaponize every single resource she has. We are talking custody battles, we are talking restraining orders, we are talking a legal war that will make every other divorce in Genoa City look like a friendly game of Uno. Abby accused him of betraying Dominic, which means she no longer trusts him to protect their son. That is the death knell of a marriage, besties. When a mother decides you are a threat to her child's safety, you are dead to her. I am personally so invested in Abby's upcoming villain arc. I want her to take everything. I want her to team up with Victor, burn Devon's moral high ground to ash, and salt the earth so nothing ever grows there again. Devon thought he was doing something beautiful and healing, but all he did was awaken a sleeping dragon. He is so out of touch with reality, and I am literally losing my mind over how he thought this was a good idea. In conclusion, My brain is still visibly buffering from the sheer audacity of this plot twist. I need to go wash this dried charcoal mask off my face, find my phone that I threw across the room, and take a deep breath into a paper bag. This show is trying to destroy my central nervous system, and it is absolutely working. Let me know in the comments if you are Team Abby, or if you somehow think Devon isn't the absolute worst. Though if you are Team Devon, we might have to fight. Stay chaotic, besties, and I will see you in the next update when this divorce inevitably goes nuclear.